name is Courtney. I have not posted on YouTube in quite some time. Um, we've had a couple busy years, and I kind of regrouped, and it's still something I want to do regularly. It was just finding how I want to do it. So a few things. I still garden very much. So we're about to start gardening season here. Friday I'm starting seeds, so we're starting gardening soon. Still going strong with the chickens, wanting chickens, having chickens, you know, doing things at home that prepare my kids for life in general, cooking, cleaning, life skills, that kind of thing. But recently we have had a change in our home where I have decided to homeschool some of our kids for personal reasons. But today I'm going to share with you the homeschool curriculum I chose, which ones are working, which ones are not working, why some are working and some are not, because some of them, the reasons they're working doesn't make them a bad curriculum, it just makes it not a good fit for us. So I'm going to start with my first grader for this video, and then I'll do my second grader and my fourth grader in separate videos. And you'll still see garden videos sprinkled throughout here, and chicken videos and cooking videos. Probably one of those all-encompassing channels, kind of what I'm trying to go for here, because that's my life. I have 9 children. I am a foster mom and a regular mom. None of my children I have given birth to, so all of my kids that are my kids are adopted. I love all of my kids the same, foster kiddo or not. I will never tell you which ones are which, and I probably won't show many of my kids on camera to begin with, so if you don't see my kids here, that's just for privacy purposes. If they want to be in a video, that's their choice and not mine. So I'm going to get started here in just a second. So I'm going to start with language. So my first grader, we pulled her from school in actually I pulled her in December. I decided we were going to homeschool her in November, and so I started picking out curriculum for her then, and we kind of did some stuff here and there till she was pulled from school. So we started, but we didn't officially start until January. So I'm going to show you what I picked for her language curriculum, and that is master books. So I'm going to show you what came with what I ordered. We ordered language lessons for living education. She is flying through this curriculum. I ordered at grade level for this. I also ordered this level for her second grade brother because he has a speech disability, and so phonics are really difficult for him, so he's also doing level 1 of language lessons for living education, but we're kind of expediting, so I'm trying to get her a little more advanced and him at grade level. They both really like this so far. This is pretty open and go as far as curriculum goes from my short experience with curriculum. I'll show you where we're at, lesson 6. So every time you get to a lesson, there's going to be like a passage and then questions and a picture study. We did this one this morning, and take their names off. We usually do a few pages a day, so we don't follow the scope and sequence at the beginning. So every master book's language lessons for living education will look like this when you open it. It's got a daily schedule if you want to do it in a semester, and a daily schedule if you want to do it in a year. We are aiming for a semester. I'd like to have her in 3rd grade language by January of next year, even though she'll be in 2nd grade, and my second grader in 3rd grade by the middle of 3rd grade. That way he's caught up by 4th grade. So this is probably one of my favorite curriculums that we've got. It's pretty tried and true from the research I've done on it. I will say my girl doesn't mind this so much. So in the back of these books, there's like these pages where you put your spelling words in a dictionary, and my second grader loathes this part of this book. but I think it's good for them. I know some people just skip this completely. There's resources in the back with all of the phonics charts. I really like this. We are using this again next year. No questions asked. Here's what came with it. The first book we'll start with is this one called Not Too Small. This is a Christian curriculum. So this is a story about a mouse who gets on a boat, Noah's Ark, when God calls him to get on the boat. And he's trying to figure out where he belongs in the world and what his purpose is. This is a really cute book. If you do not order this curriculum, order this book. I really like it. My kids really like it. It's really cute, biblically accurate, I would say. I mean, it's a mouse telling the story of how he got on Noah's Ark, so it's put in kid form, but I would say that it's pretty biblically accurate as far as that goes. The story itself. It came with this. We have not used this yet. I don't think this actually gets used. I was watching a video of another lady who used this curriculum, and she felt duped because she bought this book with the curriculum because it said it was a companion book to the curriculum, and I think that's going to be my experience too. But I will say, if you are looking for a book, I flipped through this as soon as I got this curriculum in because I was really excited about this book in particular because I love Kim Ham. I will say that this is a very simple way to explain salvation to children. So if you are a Christian and you're trying to explain how salvation works to young children, this book is where it's at. It's a flip-up picture book. Not a whole lot of words in it. There's the description right there, so you flip them up and the words are under the little flaps there. I really like this book. I don't like that it doesn't get used with the curriculum. I would have bought it anyways. But if you are one of those people that are on a budget, I don't believe you actually have to have this for the curriculum. This is the next book. I think we're pretty close to using this one. We haven't used it yet. I have not flipped through it, but I will tell you that the art is very beautiful. It is also a flip-up book, so this is one page. It goes like this. And I really like the pictures in this book. I think my kids will like this book when we get to it. I'm going to say that we'll start this probably in the second half of the textbook. This does not come with a teacher companion that I know of. I could be wrong. Not that you need one. It's all pretty self-explanatory. This is one of the books I pull out and I'll do the lesson with my kids and I will leave them to their own devices to do the worksheets. You do not have to help with the worksheets. I do not recommend helping with the worksheets. They are far too short for the children to be receiving lots of help on them. Don't mind my nails. They all fell off yesterday. I like this. We're using it again. So that is language. For language, I also use a website called Reading Eggs. And on Reading Eggs, there are different sectors of the website that you can use. I use Fast Phonics a lot. We use Reading Eggs and we use Math Seeds. There's some more like little mini games and stuff you can do. But those are the three big ones we use on Reading Eggs. My children really struggle with phonics. So Reading Eggs is great. It's a great supplement to master books. For reading, this is another one we are keeping for next year. I use Memoria Press Storytime Treasures. This is very simple, but very classical. This is a very classical approach to education, which I appreciate. I am not a Charlotte Mason eclectic. I guess I'm kind of eclectic. I kind of pull from everything. But I learn classically. That's how I learn, and I teach best classically. Doesn't mean my kids learn that way. This is a very Charlotte Mason based program. So we kind of pull from everywhere. This is great. We just finished Little Bear. Here's what the lessons look like. Let me flip open to a lesson. So basically, You can do as much or as little of this in one day as you want, but we usually do a couple pages a day out of these, and we will finish this pretty quickly. We are, I'd say, about a quarter of the way through this book. We've been at it for a month. We just finished Little Bear. We just started Frog and the Toad, and so let me see. Let me start fresh with one of the new books. So this is what the start of a unit looks like for this. I would say that this book covers one semester. I would not try to use this for a whole year. You are not going to get enough reading in if you use this for an entire year. But they have more storytime treasures. So they have one for one semester and one for another. Caps for sale. This is like the beginning of the unit. And then if you flip up, it gives you words. It makes the child say the word, write the word, read the word, use it in a sentence. And then, so this is just word recognition. And then it also has phrase recognition. So sometimes down here they'll give you phrases or they'll give you words and it wants you to tell the meaning. That's usually the first lesson in every book or every story. That's what it starts with. And then it wants them to do comprehension questions on the next page. Then it usually has them draw some sort of picture that has to do with the lesson. Today we did Frog and Toad, and it was talking about how Toad doesn't want to wake up till the springtime, and it was like, draw a picture of where you live in the springtime. So my kids did that. Then it's got some more comprehension stuff down here. Towards the ends of the lessons, I've noticed they try to incorporate some phonics and like grammar stuff. This is the first time I've seen math in this. More complete sentences, sentence structure stuff. Say each word and write it. That is pretty much it. It's very simple. This is the most open and go curriculum I have used thus far, and I'll show you what came with it. So it came with one copy of Little Bear. It came with one copy of Toad and Friends. This was free. This is the Christmas Carol, A Christmas Carol, and this is one of my favorite stories. We have a library in our house, and I have a basket, and every season I kind of put seasonal books in the basket. This was in the basket. As soon as this curriculum came in, I threw this in the basket, and the kids have already like flipped through it and read some of it. Caps for Sale, paperback, and then Make a Way for Ducklings, also paperback. These are beautiful books. If you don't have these books in your library already, I would say just order them straight from Memoria Press. You could find them cheaper at a thrift store, but if you're like me and you appreciate the way a new book looks, go ahead and order them. They're nice. No shame in your game there. Okay, we plan on using Memoria Press for reading, probably permanently. My 4th grader is using, she is doing 2nd grade level reading. She is very behind. That is one of the reasons we pulled her out of school. And I really like the 2nd grade literature they chose for their programs. And I'm hoping that once we get through the 2nd Storytime Treasures collection, that both my 1st and 2nd grader can move up to that level and be able to read it on their own. So I'm going to move on to math next. This is the Good and the Beautiful Math. This is very Charlotte Mason based curriculum. I love this curriculum. The caveat is that I'm teaching 3 children at 3 different grade levels. So my 2nd grader is behind in grammar and language, so I kind of have him reviewing things from that, but he is at grade level for math, so he's doing math 2 through the Good and the Beautiful. I love this curriculum. If I had 1 child or 2 children homeschooled, I would stay with this curriculum. This is very teacher intensive. I spend 30 minutes a day with each child doing math. And if they're not understanding it, sometimes 30 minutes turns into an hour and a half, and my other kids are suffering because of how teacher intensive this is. Also, there are a lot of games. in this. I mean, it's like every other lesson there's a game, and it says play as many times as you want, which when my child sees that, they're like, I want to keep playing, and it's not fair to my other kids. Some people have complained about the binding. I know The Good and the Beautiful is switching their binding. This is the only math curriculum we have that doesn't have like a regular binding, so I have noticed that this one is starting to like come undone, and we're only on lesson 17, I think. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean we've done this much, so that's where we're at. This is beautiful. I will show you a lesson out of here. Let me just flip to the art is beautiful. I know in the level 4, like it follows a story. This not so much. It's very well done. I will say that my biggest thing, aside from this being super teacher intensive, is that I feel like they advance and don't review enough. So they advance to the next concept, and my child might not have grasped that concept, and then all I have is like one lesson of that concept to go back to. I don't like that. I like going over a concept many times in many different ways. I'm not given the opportunity to do that here. It is a spiral program, so it builds and builds and builds. So if there's a concept they're not getting and you're out of material to teach them, it makes it really hard to kind of get them to understand it if they're not getting it from the lesson that taught it here. It came with a manipulatives box. This is great. This is the first grade box. It came with all these little things, coins, dice. These are all for the games and stuff. I do love these. These geometry pieces are amazing. It teaches them how shapes fit together, and my first grader adores them. She really does love this program. It is a little hard for her. My second grader is thrilled with it. So the plan for math, my husband has been like, switch to Math UC, and Math UC is very expensive out the gate. To just be trying it, I'm very nervous about it, but after looking into it and watching videos on it and reviews, I think that is probably the best move for us, because I've always said, if they can't read, they can't math. And my focus right now is reviewing the principles on how to read with my kids, because they are so behind from the public schools that they were in. And their schools were great. They were just dealt a rough hand of cards to deal with. So pulling them was what was best for them. They have caught up immensely in the last 6 weeks or so. It's amazing to see, but I am a firm believer that reading is the most important thing you can learn to do in life, and everything else follows, even if it's math. We use The Good and the Beautiful also for handwriting. Beautiful program. I will probably always use this. There's lots of like, draw a picture, follow these lines, and it shows you, there's arrows on each letter showing you which direction your pencil goes. I really love the level 3 because it's got like, it's teaching cursive, and at the top it's got little dots, and it shows you which dot to go to first. Let me take a sip of my tea here. We will keep using this. The Good and the Beautiful. A lot of people either love it or hate it. I am neither of those people. I adore the program. Not a great fit for our family, for the size of family we have, because it's so teacher intensive, but it is very good. It's a very good program. Next, we have spelling. For spelling, I initially purchased All About Spelling. I was so excited about this. I took the index cards out. I laminated every single one of them. And then I opened the book and I was overwhelmed. I have heard that All About Reading is a great reading program, so I assumed that All About Spelling was about the same. This is very overwhelming even for an adult to read this to try to teach. And I don't know if it was just those first few lessons that I tried with my first grader, but the way this program works was not working for her. I opened this book twice with her and it just wasn't working. So I switched. And I switched to Memoria Press's traditional spelling. And she took her first official spelling test today and she got a 90 on it, which grades are neither here nor there with homeschooling, but she missed one word using this program. I'm in love with this. I love Memoria Press. They are probably my favorite curriculum to purchase from. You get your words, you divide them up based on sound, and then each page is a little different. They make you write them. This is probably one of my favorite tasks they make them do. So you write all your words and then you go back over consonants with one color and vowels with another, and that's how they learn the vowels and consonants. There's rhyming. Let's see here. There is a vocabulary type lesson in here where they teach the child what the word means or how to use it in a sentence. Dictation. Right here, same thing. The sounds each word uses, all of the words, so lots of writing, and then using it in a sentence. Lots of repetitive stuff, which with spelling words I feel like is necessary. So I got this. It's working great. It came, not that you need this. So I purchased this because I have 9 kids. And if my child needs help with something and I am not available to them and I need my 7th grader to like explain what a word means, I want them to use the teaching manual. Also, the teaching manual is great because of the test. The test is in the book. It automatically gives you sentences to use the words in. So I would, even if you know how to spell the words, purchase this to go with it. I have 9 kids, so this will get used so many times that it's a drop in the bucket. I also bought the supplemental spelling 1 workbook. So for each lesson, there are 2 additional activities the child can do in this book, and then the workbook key. I recommend getting this. There was a sentence that one of my kids had. I want to say it was my 4th grader. There was a sentence that one of them had, and even I was like, what are they trying to say? And I could not figure out what word they wanted in the blank because it fit multiple words. And so I pulled this open and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And I reworded the sentence for my kid, and she was like, well, why didn't they just say that the first time, Mom? I don't know. And then it came with this and a stack of phonics cards about that tall. This is great. We haven't opened this up too much yet, but I'll just flip to like unit 1 here for you guys. Short vowel words, and then as you turn the pages, there's pictures and words with the pictures. Really great for visual learners. The flashcards are really great for learners that just do good from repetition, do well from repetition. For science, we ordered the Good and the Beautiful space unit study and the botany unit study. I plan on doing botany with the garden, so we are starting science on Friday when we start seeds, and then they are too young to do social studies. We tried doing some geography and it was just not up there in their brains, so we're not there yet for them. But for science, we're doing the Good and the Beautiful. I didn't bring those in here with me. the good and the beautiful space unit study and the botany unit study, I do not believe I will purchase um, the good and the beautiful for science again. And the reason being, every lesson just about has an activity that goes with it that requires a giant list of supplies, and that to me is a lot when I have 9 kids running around. I need something a little more open and go, especially when I'm trying to put such a focus on reading that it just gets really overwhelming. And there's a lot of days where I'm like, oh man, we didn't get to science today because I put science off. Not that you should, but I put science kind of on the back burner because they're not at the age that they need it yet. It's not a requirement in the state we live at their age, but it is useful. You hear them? They're taking a break from studying right now. It is useful, especially when you garden and you have a lifestyle where you're growing your own food and stuff like that. So we haven't really tapped into that yet, but they are beautiful unit studies if you get a chance to look at one. I will probably show them with my 4th graders curriculum here in a couple videos, but that is it for today. That's my 1st graders curriculum haul, if you will. And I will, if we order Matthew C, I will update you guys on how we're liking that. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you come back. I'm so sorry that this video was so long-winded, but I'll see you next time.